What's up guys, Shuckle King here with my round of 32 game for the GBA Fan Draft League 2 versus Hikertoad, who is one of the top seeds. He was either, I think, the 3rd or 4th overall seed in the tournament, and he's a very good player, so it was, maybe I should have tried a little harder, maybe winning in my 4th week so I didn't have to play a tough opponent round 2, but that's fine. His team is, from most to least threatening, would be Tapu Koko with Z moves, Mega Mawile, Tornadus T, Suicune, Darmanitan, Garchomp, Mandibuzz, and Roserade. Roserade, I feel like, has a weird matchup. It takes on Tapu Bulu really well, but otherwise, basically anything on my team can handle it okay. I guess Jolteon, even with Hidden Power Ice, it doesn't want to take 2 unless if it's a more bulkier spread. Mandibuzz, I kind of expect to come. It's like between Darmanitan, Garchomp, Mandibuzz. I feel like probably one of those 3 wouldn't come. But Mandibuzz is kind of where Celesteela, DNC, Dragonite can somewhat set up on it, though Foul Play is something you gotta watch out for. Manaphy can set up, Kartana can Swords Dance, and Jolteon can Volt Switch on it. So I don't know if Mandibuzz comes, but he'll need some type of answer for like a Tapu Bulu. So the 3 months I feel I do pretty well versus team. First would be Jolteon. I feel like Jolteon is nice just because it handles the Koko okay, and my team doesn't handle Koko that great otherwise. I also outspeed Tornadus, I outspeed the Suicune, Mandibuzz. I can Hidden Power Ice to Garchomp. So just a fast electric does pretty well this game. Another mon it does well is Mega DNC, because I outspeed the Garchomp, again, unless he's Scarfed. I outspeed Mandibuzz, which could be a problem for my Dragonite. Outspeeds Darmanitan unless he's Scarfed, but I would kind of imagine he would bring Scarfed Darmanitan anyway if he brings it this game, just because it would outspeed like Celesteela, unless if I get a Rock Polish or a Autonomize up. It would outspeed Mega Dante and can Earthquake against it, outspeed Infernape, Earthquake at Dragonite and Rock Slide it, and it would outspeed Kartana, which would do decent damage with knockoff or Sacred Sword. So I feel like it makes sense to bring Scarf Darmanitan if he brings it. But Mega Dante anyway. Can also Earth Power to the Mega Mawile, which would be pretty threatening towards it. Takes on a Tornadus T pretty well, unless he has like some type of Steel move. So that's something you gotta watch out for. And last one it does pretty well is Dragonite. But if I have like a Z Thunder Punch plus Earthquake plus Dragon Claw, he really doesn't have any answer for that unless he brings a Resist Berry or something on the lines of that. Or if like Suicune or Mandibuzz could take a +1 hit after I burn my Z move on one of the 2, but they really don't want to, they don't have to. So there are the 3 mons I'm going to bounce my team around. The first mon is Jolteon, fairly straightforward set. The max speed allows me to speed tie the Tapu Koko. I probably won't beat it 1v1, but I should be able to do decent damage to it with Electric Train, Boosted Thunderbolt. Will still do decent damage. Volt Switch the game momentum throughout. Hidden Power Ice for the Garchomp and Toxic to wear down the Koko. And that's really only it, is to wear down the Tapu Koko, unless in case he's like a Calm Mindset or something that I wouldn't be able to handle. Next I have Mega DNC with Moonblast, Diamond Storm, Stealth Rock, Protect. I do not have Earth Power, unfortunately, to hit the Mega Mawile, though Moonblast still does like 30 to 40% of, depending on his spreads, that's still decent damage. Diamond Storm is there to do, it does, I don't think it kills Roserade just because I have minus attack nature, but it will still do a lot of damage after rocks. And it'll also do decent damage to Tornadus, and if I can get a +2 defense boost, that would be really nice to take like a Earthquake from Darmanitan, which this spread allows me to do. I can live a Scarfed Earthquake from Darmanitan with my HP investment. The speed allows me to outspeed Garchomp, and I guess it also allows me to outspeed a modest Tornadus if he decides to bring that. I would doubt it, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he brought modest Tornadus just because I don't need the speed creep normally. The only thing I would need to add speed would be the Garchomp, which is, I think, 332. So maybe he's expecting I bring speed creep only for that. So that's in case he does bring a modest Tornadus. I still outspeed it, and the rest is into special attack. Next set I have is Dragonite. Unfortunately, I have to run plus speed natured to outspeed Tapu Koko after a +1 Dragon Dance if Coco's on max speed. But Dragon Dance, Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Thunder Punch. I mentioned this set before, but +1 Z Thunder Punch should kill the Mandibuzz and the Suicune. Dragon Claw is there for the Tornadus, for the Garchomp, for the Roserade, and Earthquake is there for the Darmanitan, Mega Mawile, and Tapu Koko. So all 3 of these moves really should be able to win the game if I can get a +1 up, or ideally a +2, because I'm assuming he's going to have something, probably the Darmanitan that would outspeed at a +1. It could be a Scarf Garchomp as well. Next I have Infernape, a cool set. It's a defensive Infernape with enough speed to outspeed a Suicune that would speed creep a max speed Dragonite. Now I'd expect that because it would also outspeed a max speed Bulu, and he can bring Ice Beam or Hidden Power Poison. He could be an offensive set with like Scald, Ice Beam, Hidden Power Poison for my Bulu, and maybe Protect for Leftovers Recovery or Tailwind or something like that. I don't think an offensive Suicune is out of the question. But otherwise, I do outspeed Suicune outspeeding Dragonite with this set so I can U-turn away and go into something that can handle it better. But the main purpose of this set is it's my switch into Mega Mawile, which isn't great, but it can take a Play Rough from Max Attack Adamant Mega Mawile, and it'll activate my Papa Berry, so I'll be down to less than 25% after taking a Play Rough. It still does a ton, even with close to max defense. But I'll be back up at 75% HP, which is good because he won't be able to kill me with Play Rough plus Sucker Punch. And Slack Off is there in case I want to recover more later on throughout the match. I could potentially Toxic Stall a Suicune, at least a little bit with Slack Off plus Toxic. And Fire Blast is to hit the Mega Mawile, and U-turn for General Momentum. Next set is a Choice Scarf Kartana, enough speed to outspeed the Garchomp. Max attack, Leaf Blade, Smart Strike, Knockoff Defog. Knockoff is there to hit the Darmanitan. I could have gone with Sacred Sword, but Knockoff does a little bit more damage and has better general utility. Leaf Blade will hit the Tapu Koko, hit the Garchomp Suicune. Smart Strike will hit the Mega Mawile pretty hard, and hit the Roserade okay, as well as hitting the Tornadus T. And knockoffs I mentioned for Darm and like general utility, or if I want to get leftovers off on Mandibuzz, because I cannot touch Mandibuzz with this set. I did debate Toxic as the 4th move, but I figured Defog is pretty important to make sure Dragonite can get a free chance to set up a Dragon Dance in case he does get rocks up on the field, which his rockets are either Garchomp or Mega Mawile. And the last Pokemon was debating between Manaphy. Manaphy might have been better for this than Celesteela, but I did decide to go with Celesteela because a Z Garchomp could be a little bit of an issue, or like a Scar set or just Garchomp in general. So having an Earthquake immunity besides Dragonite is really nice for this team. This set allows me to take Heat Wave, 2 Heat Waves from Tornadus T, or take unless he's Life Orb, or take a +2 Fire Z Garchomp hit. Now he could run a Z Stone Edge and still knock this out at +2, but I just gotta hope that he doesn't do that. I can also live a hit from Darmanitan, I'm pretty sure, if he's Scarfed, though I won't be doing too much to in return. Fire Blast is there to hit the Roserade and the Mawile. The speed also allows me outspeed a Mega Mawile and like very little speed Suicune, which I would doubt, but I might as well try to go for it and see if I do outspeed it. Fire Blast again for the Mega Mawile. Hidden Power Ice to it's not going to kill the Garchomp, but it'll do like 70 to 80-ish%, which is decent damage. And Giga Drain is there for the Suicune. Leech Seed also for the Suicune or the Mandibuzz. So that's my team. I don't know how well it's going to go against Hiker. He's a good player, but we'll see in the match. Alright, here we are for the match versus Hikertoad. And as you can see here, he does not bring the Garchomp or the Tornadus. I was a little surprised he didn't bring Tornadus, just because with Heat Wave plus Hurricane with its nice speed, maybe like a Steel move to hit my Mega Dancey. I felt like it would have done pretty good damage this game, but I'm okay with that. I'm not too surprised that Garchomp didn't come, however. I feel like I have a pretty good matchup going into this game without those two threats here. But my game plan, again, is to sweep either late game with Kartana or just chip off a lot of damage with Jolteon, and maybe Dragonite can get a sweep late game. We will see. Dragonite has to deal with Mandibuzz that can potentially live a hit if I can't get a +1 up, or Mega Wawa has Intimidate, and I'm sure he'll have a Scarfer. Probably that Darmanitan has to be a Scarfer. So my lead in this game is going to be the Diancie, because I don't want him getting rocked up on the field. He can knock out my Diancie, I'm fine with that, but I don't want him to get rocked if possible. But I also do have Defog on Kartana just in case, but that's why I ran Protect, just to make sure that I can get a Mega Evolution off for free in case he predicts me to switch and he go for Stealth Rocks, so that way I can Magic Bounce the Stealth Rocks off. But at the same time, he's got to be threatened that I have a lot of special attack with Earth Power, as that's going to do a ton of damage to him. So Hikertoad is going to actually switch into Tapu Koko, which is kind of a weird play because Earth Power was my move of choice. But he gets that prediction right, so that's fine. I'm going to protect, see if he goes for a Hidden Power Steel or any Steel move, and goes for Calm Mind, which is a little bit of an issue, but Jolteon should be able to take it unless he's like a Z move. And as you can see here, he goes through a Thunderbolt and does nothing, which is great. I want to get a Toxic on this to try to wear it down as much as possible. As you can see with the Dazzling Gleam, it does 64%. So this damage shows that he's a max special attacking set, but I did outspeed, so I'm assuming he's either like max special attack and max speed. So it is a speed tie here, so I am kind of risking it, and if he does knock out my Jolteon here, that'd be pretty unfortunate. But if I do win the speed type, well, and Jolteon's mainly here for the Koko anyway. It's nice to handle the Suicune, but I have a Kartana to handle it, so and to an extent Celesteela. So I'm going to hopefully switch out first and Volt Switch, or he's going to kill me off with a Dazzling Gleam, and then I can bring in Kartana and Revenge Kill it. So as we can see here, I do win the speed tie, so I do Volt Switch, and I actually don't do a whole lot of damage. 20% is a decent amount of +1, but it shows that he also has a decent amount of bulk on this Tapu Koko. So I'm pretty confident that he is not max speed, so I should always outspeed it, which is great. I go into Celesteela, predicting him to go for Dazzling Gleam because he wouldn't go for a Thunderbolt. I still don't know what his last move is, though, and he does not do a whole lot. A crit is unfortunate, but that's fine. I'm going to pivot back in my Jolteon, predicting a Thunderbolt. If he goes for a Dazzling Gleam, that's fine. I still rack up a lot of toxic damage on him. And predicting that he's Scarfed, I'm going to switch out and go into my Celesteela. I have an Aqua Berry, which doesn't make a difference. I'm going to still die. I'm basically sacking off the Celesteela at this point. If he goes for Earthquake, it'd be a little crazy, but I would take it. Otherwise, I would go down and just assume that my Kartana plus Jolteon can handle the Suicune. So he goes for a Rock Slide, and this shows that he's actually Adamant damage based off that. So he's probably Adamant Scarfed. He's not Life Orb. He's not like Jolly Life Orb. He has to be Animate Choice Scarf, which is an issue because my Dragonite still wouldn't be able to outspeed it at +1. So that's a good bring on his part, but I know my Infernape can take 2 Scarfed hits, so I'm fine with that. I just got to make sure that I can offensively pressure the Mega Mawile later on because I don't want that to be an issue. As you can see here, the 2 hits brings up my Papa Berry, and I can Toxic this Infernape. He's going to stay in and Rock Slide, just predicting I won't be able to do a whole lot, or just sacking it off. But I can just Recover Stall on this Darmanitan, so I'm giving him, I guess, a chance to live later on. But I will be alive and should be able to deal with some of this team later on. And I go for Toxic here. I felt like it was a pretty low, it was a low risk, high reward play, just because 2 Rock Slides were not going to kill me. So if he did Rock Slide and he stayed in and Toxic, I could have slacked off on the second turn. On that second turn, he could have switched out and he would have gained momentum in that regard. But that was the little risk here, but the chance of him not wanting to take any more toxic damage and go into like Koko or Mandibuzz or Suicune were a little bit higher. So that's why I went for the toxic, and I get it off on the Suicune, which is great. It can't sub or protect or do any of that shenanigans, really. And at this point, predicting that I'm like max HP, max defense most likely, so he could outspeed me and go for a Scald. and I don't want to take that hit. So I would probably switch out into like my Celesteela. That's really it. I wouldn't want to risk a Kartana getting burned potentially. So he has to be predicting that I'm going to be going into Celesteela. So he's going to go into Roserade. I guess not into Celesteela. Well, my Celesteela is very low, so he could have like a hidden power fire and be okay. I just figured, why Roserade? Yeah, that is kind of weird. He has to have like a hidden power fire to kill my Celesteela. Otherwise, it kind of seems like a weird play. But based on his team, it makes sense that he would have something on that set to hit the Celesteela. But I get my Diancie for free, and I can get rocks up, which is great. I guess he didn't expect me to have U-turn on the Infernape, which is definitely fair. So at this point, I can just protect and hopefully stall out the Suicune, which is a little ironic just because Suicune is usually the one that is stalling out your opponent. But this Diancie is not as useful. It is useful to hopefully prevent like Mawile from getting rocks up and can still deal with the Mandibuzz. So it's not unuseful, but I know it can also take a Scald, and Moonblast does enough where it's going to be able to a KO the Suicune, which is great. So I bring that threat down. It wasn't the biggest nuisance to my team, just because, especially with the Toxic off, it was significantly not as threatening. But it could have had like Ice Beam set way Dragonite couldn't set up. And I guess it could have given a chance for Kartana to get a boost, but I don't want to lock myself into a Leaf Blade with a Roserade plus Mandibuzz on the field still. So he has a pretty safe play in the Tapu Koko. At this point, he could either Roost, he could Thunderbolt and kill anything on my team except for the Jolteon. He could also even Dazzling Gleam, though that's not going to kill me based on the HP I'm at. He could also Defog to get rid of the hazards for a Darmanitan and Mandibuzz to be more of a threat. So I'm going to go right into Jolteon. He goes for Roost. So it's set as Roost, Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, Thunderbolt. And I don't know what his last move, his item is. I'm assuming it's a Z move. So I'm going to Volt Switch again and go into Celesteela. It's a sack off. He goes through the Thunderbolt there. That was, I would call that a high risk, low reward play. If I stayed in with my Jolteon just Thunderbolted, then I would have regained a lot of HP, and I felt like that would have been even more of a nuisance to the team, because I probably could have taken like a Sucker Punch from the Mega Mawile if I got more recovery. So that was a little risky, and I was just sacking off my Celesteela. I didn't really care about it at this point in the match, but it worked out for him. At this point, my best play is to go to my Kartana and try to get a Beast Boost up and kill what's in front of me. And he knows this, so he's going to switch to a Mawile, get an Intimidate off, and I'm going to go for the Smart Strike. And you can see that does 44%. That means in like regular Mawile form, even with the Intimidate, that means that he does not have much bulk, if at all, any bulk on this Mega Mawile. He could be like a speedy set with like Thunder Punch in the terrain to try to outspeed like a defensive Celesteela that would normally be able to handle a Mega Mawile otherwise. If he didn't have Thunder Punch or Fire Punch, though he probably would have one of the two. So that's good knowledge for me to know, but I don't want to stay in and die to a Fire Punch from Mega Mawile. And Kartana also outspeeds his Darmanitan, so that's something I want to keep in mind, and outspeeds the rest of his team. But I also don't want him to get rocks up, and that rocks are definitely a possibility because he didn't bring Garchomp. His Mega Mawile most likely has rocks. So I'm going to go with my Diancie, because I do not want my Dragonite to take 25% if I don't have to. And he goes for the Stealth Rock. So that's great for me. He does not get rocks up. And he doesn't... What is he? He does not know what my last move is. So I still could have Earth Power for this and knock it out. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to knock out the Mega Mawile. So he's going to make the switch out in the Mandibuzz. I'm not sure if this was either a sack or maybe him predicting that I would go for the Earth Power there, and at that point he could pivot into something else, taking like a Moonblast or a Diamond Storm. But I just go right for the Moonblast and kill it because I don't have Earth Power. It makes it a little bit easier for Dragonite to sweep. I could set up a Dragon Dance on the Mandibuzz, but he can go for Foul Blade and do a ton of damage to the point where Darmanitan can just revenge kill me with Rock Slide. So that's not the best strategy, but by knocking it out, it's easier for me to get a Dragon Dance up. So that's great for me. He's forced to go into Roserade he chooses, which is interesting. I I'm not able to knock out with the Diamond Storm just because I'm minus attack. Even if I did have not minus attack, I probably don't knock out this Roserade. I thought Darmanitan was pretty safe to just go for Flare Blitz. That should knock me off from this range. But I really don't want anything to take a hit. I guess the Infernape could, but it still handles the Mega Mawile pretty well. So I'm going to just stay in and sack this and go for the Diamond Storm. And I still do a ton of damage, 57%. But he is able to knock me out with a Giga Drain and cover a little bit of HP. Doesn't really matter. And at this point in the match, I'm going to go into my Kartana, and I can just pretty safely go for the Smart Strike. If he switched into Mega Mawile, would have been dead in 2 hits. Tapu Koko would have died. Darmanitan would have died in 2 hits. So he had to do this play. And now he has to go into Darmanitan, because that's the only thing that can take a +1 Smart Strike. I don't think it was a roll. I think it was barely out of range where it would have been a high roll to kill. So obviously I can't stay in, but Kartana is in really, really good shape to win the game. If I can get a Beast Boost up on the Koko and a Mega Mawile, then I basically win, because I'll be able to kill the Darmanitan after rocks. So I'm going to go into Infernape here as kind of like a sack off. You go for the Earthquake and actually live, which is crazy how bulky this Infernape actually is. But I kind of make a bad play and sack off my Infernape here. I know he's Scarfed. I feel like my best play was probably to go into the Dragonite and Dragon Dance. Now, he could have easily switched out his Darmanitan here, predicting me to go into Dragonite, and he could have gone to Tapu Koko, and that would have been fine because I would have Earthquaked and killed it, or he could have gone to Mega Mawile, or again, I Earthquake and kill it, and he could have Sucker Punched and broke my my multi-skill, but that was probably a risk I was okay taking, just because I want to get somehow a free switch into my Kartana, so that way I can kill this Darmanitan, but I can't get a free switch here just because I can't get a free switch while the Darmanitan is in and with this high of health, because I won't be able to kill it with Smart Strike, but I will be able to kill his last 2 members with it. So I should have killed Dragonite, gone 1 for 1 there, and then swept with Kartana later on. But I go with this play. I'm still in pretty good chance to win this game, but it's not guaranteed yet. So I can't kill with a Smart Strike from this range. So I go to my Dragonite and go for a Dragonant. It was pretty safe. He wasn't going to stay in. I was going to get a kill on something. If he stayed in, I would have gotten 2 Dragon Dances up and would have been game. But he switches out, attacks his Koko, which is probably the right play. And I kill that off. He was Shucka Berry, so he wasn't even a Z Fairy move. So that was interesting to note. And I guess that was also a reason why he wasn't as afraid to switch in with my Mega Dante really early on in the match, because he was Shucka Berry, so he would have lived the Earth Power if I went for it on the Mega Mawile. And he doesn't really have the greatest switch-ins in the Mega Dante on his team. So he brings in a Darmanitan. He can kill me with any 1 hit. And I stay in, he goes for a Rock Slide, doesn't do a whole lot, and I knock him out in return. Again, I probably shouldn't have done this. I should have gone into Jolteon and sacked that off, because then I could have gone into Kartana. He would have been really low. I could have Smart Striked and then Smart Strike the Mega Mawile to win. Now, that was probably the right play, because me staying in right here, if Mega Mawile gets a Sucker Punch crit on the Dragonite, I'm in a little bit of an issue, because I don't think I can kill the Mega Mawile in 1 hit with my Kartana. I guess not knowing exactly what his spread was, assuming it was very minimal bulk, it still was probably safer to go into Jolteon and sack it off. But it's kind of cool to get the sweep with the Dragonite at the end there. So good game, Hikertoad. Very good player. He does not get the credit here, by the way. But it looked like Kartana was going to win anyway. So good game. We go to the round of 16, so better than I did last GBA Fan Draft League when I went only to the round of 64 before I lost. So hopefully I can continue to win streak, but we'll see. Until next time, later guys.